Hello, everyone, and welcome to Burn the Ship, the podcast that helps entrepreneurs go all in on their business, and we introduce them to professionals that can help them to do so. Today, we have two very special guests. We have Nicole Ward and Natasha Jones. How are you ladies doing today?
Wonderful. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Nicole, please introduce yourself and the name of your business and organizations.
Awesome. Nicole Ward, co-founder and president, African American Women Trucking Association, also known as ATA. We are here in Atlanta, Georgia, and our mission is to make sure that we're able to increase the representation of African American women and individuals facing barriers to entry in trucking and logistics.
Awesome. How about you, Natasha? Introduce yourself and what you do.
Yes, my name is Natasha Jones. I'm the VP of Mental Health and Wellness at the African American Women in Trucking Association, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Nicole, we definitely appreciate you coming on here today, and we want you to take a little bit of time and tell us about your journey and how you got to where you are now.
Man, my journey's been interesting. I tell people I failed forward. So if there's a definition about failing forward, I should be the poster child. I'll tell you that right now. I never thought about growing up and being in trucking and logistics. Furthermore, when you think about trucking, you don't think about a woman that's wearing lipstick and has orange nails.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are the status quo. We're doing something different. And so I'm excited and was always excited about being a change maker, being a leader in the industry. I was born to be a leader. And so when I fell into trucking by accident, because I don't think anybody wakes up and says they're going to do this unless it's generational, I had to make a decision. Was I going to do trucking or was I going to be the best at it? Mm-hmm. And if I was going to be the best at it, what did that look like? And so I got inside of this industry, knew nothing about trucking. I just knew it was a male-dominated industry. I had an opportunity to shine, create an example of change, be a change maker, be a leader in the industry. And I'm like, all right, let's do this thing. Let's fail forward, which I didn't know I was going to fail forward at the time. And I'll let you ask me those questions. But it allowed me to come inside of this industry, have an opportunity to understand what's taking place. Why is it a male-dominated industry? Why is trucking the important? Why does it make the world go round? Why is the trucker, a driver, just as important as a doctor? Okay, what is it that we're doing for the supply chain? So that allowed me to get in the game, all right, because that's what trucking is, a game, and understand the importance of what it does for our nation.
Awesome. Now, you said that you fell into it on an accident. What were some of the things you were doing before you decided to get into this particular industry?
Awesome. Thank you for asking that question. So I was actually a former C-suite executive in the insurance industry, another male-dominated industry. So when people think insurance and they see a woman, they tend to also think behind the desk. But I was quite the opposite. I was a woman that what we called was in the field. So I climbed buildings and I did assessments on commercial and residential buildings once they faced damages. I was out there with the boys, right? And so this was unfamiliar. Trucking was unfamiliar. It was not unfamiliar territory because for 18 years I was in the insurance industry where I had the opportunity to run and play in a big league with something that's just as important for our society.
Now, with it, you were in this industry for 18 years. Obviously, you had to be successful in it at staying for that amount of time. Was there a specific event that said, hey, I am going to change course and I'm going to burn the ship and go all into trucking?
Absolutely. I am a second generational entrepreneur. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs, actually come from the beautiful island of Kingston, Jamaica. So entrepreneurial, you hear a lot about Jamaicans having multiple jobs. So I actually was the first in my family to not just go to college, graduate, and then work in the corporate America environment, but it also to kind of do something different, which was trucking. So I saw my parents as entrepreneurs, but I also saw them scrappy. Corporate America, that was at one point in time someone's dream, right? And then people came to fuel that dream, and then it became where it was. So for myself, I wanted to formalize not just my education, but my experience and building someone else's dream so that I could build mine. And so the pivotal point for me is I had an amazing friend who had an opportunity to open an insurance company. So 15 years into my journey, I'm
Hmm.
like, whoa, this is as close as entrepreneurship as I'm probably gonna get for now. And so it allowed me to go in. I was the third hire. And we built a structure that had 2,500 people. We sold to a major insurance company. I retired at 35, and it gave me my first feel of what it was to make the decisions that can affect the corporation or organization in a good way or
Hmm.
in a bad way. And what strategic growth was. What does organization look like? What is scale? And how do you do it? So I was able to take that last go into an insurtech, formalize that, gain the experience, and turn around and open up one of the most amazing nonprofits and the first of its kind.
Awesome, awesome. That seems like an amazing journey that you've been on so far. And we want you to share with us all about the association. So tell us, what is it that you're doing? How are you helping? Give us the lowdown on everything about the association.
Man, so African American Women Trucking Association started 3 years ago. I love to say failing forward by accident. I got into trucking. I started off with my journey. I started out with one truck, was a dispatcher for my organization, then became a broker for my small company, and then we went from one to three. Well, I found that there was a ton of barriers. I found that this was probably one of the hardest industries to enter, not just as a woman, but as a Black woman. And so I was like, yeah, we got to do something about this. And so I woke up and I tell people I'm the Martin Luther King of trucking. I woke up and I had a dream, all
Hmm.
right? And I had a dream to make sure that I was able to create a community that was able to help individuals with resources, with education, and help with partnership, collaborations, growth, development. And it not just for women, again, for men or anybody facing any type of disparities, injustices, barriers, obstacles. And so our original focus, hence our name, started with women, with African American women. And now our focus transitioned into individuals that second chance, reentry programs, the youth, just anybody, again, facing injustices or barriers, obstacles to get into this industry, whether it's financial, whether it has to do with sex, whether it has to do with their background. Whatever the case may be, we are here to bring that support and to make sure that they're able to come into this industry and not just be left or dumped off, but supported with their journey to make sure that they're able to thrive in this industry, survive, make it to the next level, create a plan, entrepreneurship, ownership, and just have that support that's needed if you're coming into something that's brand new, especially as many of us are first generational entrepreneurs. I'm first generation American, but second generational entrepreneur. So able to take those skills of entrepreneurship and just some of the disparities that I went through, and really just help our community, put them in all in one place and watch it go.
Now, are these individual truck drivers, are they looking to get into the industry, or have they already made the step to get in and you see that they have trouble? Where are these people so we can make sure to connect you with them?
So these people, and for those of you listening and trying to understand exactly what AUTA does, it's a combination of both, right? So we one of the statistics that you see is that there's a driver shortage. You'll always hear about driver shortage. What a lot of that has to do with retention. We have a ton of people that got into trucking, became professional drivers, but they didn't have resources. They didn't have a what's next. They just was like, am I going to be behind the wheel forever? Where is the next step into my career? So this is what we're able to do with the individuals that are here. We're able to provide them opportunity. You talked a little bit about partnership, or we talked a little bit about partnership, but connect them with partners that they particularly would not have the opportunity to work with because their fleet, or they may not have enough trucks, right? But now we're looked at an organization that has 3,000 plus, and we're looked at in a way that they can come together, organization, partners, manufacturers, distribution centers are able to come together and work with certain demographics and have an opportunity to see where everyone is and where they are and how they're able to assist. And so you're just not like a lonely soldier out there trying to run a trucking industry. You're coming in with a partner, you're coming in with sisters, and you're coming in with brothers, you're coming in with resources that are going to help you excel. So all the old timers or the good old boys or the ones that are already in the industry, we have opportunity, and it's not just behind the wheel. So that's that. Now we have when I talk about the new generation or the youngins, a lot of people aren't thinking as trucking as a viable career choice, as an opportunity to grow and thrive in their life or build a future. And trucking can do more than that. We have fourth and fifth generational truckers. Okay. Those guys, some of the big boys, they started because their grandfather, father is the one that started with one truck and now they have 10,000. So now we can show them that you can still go to college, or you can get a skill and make a lucrative life, create this amazing life that is going to help you move to the next level or build your dreams or build your future. So we're able to capture the youth, show them about what opportunities are available to them, and to let them know about the different careers in trucking logistics. Again, most people think trucking, the first thing they do is think about that big old 18 wheeler, and that's not the case. We have our amazing Natasha Jones, who is a registered nurse, but she's in trucking. We have myself that is not a driver, but at one time I was a broker and a dispatcher that's in trucking. And then there's so many different areas in trucking. We have technology, that's a big deal, AI, that's taking over. But we need people in trucking and transportation. So we're able to enlighten the youth and let them know about the opportunities that are available to them. All right, as we're knocking on the door of these universities, they can now see trucking and transportation as an option for their future.
That is awesome. I definitely appreciate you talking about that. And as you talk about the different services and parts of it, yes, if you think about trucking, you think about the big trucks going down there, but there's so many different elements and components inside of the industry in itself. And that's why I want to bring you in, Natasha, to talk about what is that segment that you do inside of this association as you're out here helping those individuals.
Absolutely. What I do is medical compliance. So that is the drug screening and the physicals. We look at the driver. We also educate. A lot of the times, drivers are unhealthy. They're on the road. They're out of compliance. So not only do we just take their urine and then let them go, we give them education in the process. Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating healthy on the road? Are you sleeping? These different things are very important when it comes to the medical side of this industry, because this is another area where people in the trucking industry are not able to continue to keep their license because they're failing their exams. So a lot of education is needed in this area.
Now, as you are talking about trying to keep the truckers healthy, can you give us an idea of what that plan looks like? If I have just been driving for 10 years, not eating properly, my ankles are always swollen. Give us an idea of a type of plan that you would put me on to make sure that I am able to fit the bill of being a healthy driver.
So first of all, if you're driving for 10 years and you have those issues, we're going to start with the mental health and wellness part of it, right? Because this is a huge change, right? So you're used to doing something for 10 years. We can't just come in and say, let's do this, right? So we're going to work on little steps. We'll do SMART goals, something small, something attainable, and we'll do one thing at a time until we have a bigger picture. So that's actually getting an air fryer versus going into, a truck stop and, getting the fast food that's available to you. Drinking water, making frequent stops, sleeping, because a lot of people, they go past the hours that they need to, so they need to sleep. A lot of people suffer from fatigue and sleep apnea, right? So getting screened for that as well. So we'll comprise a whole program in order for them to see the whole picture instead of just one little issue. And a lot of times that's referrals, and a lot of times, unfortunately, that's out of service until we can get that taken care of.
Yeah, awesome. Just like the innovation that you're bringing, Nicole, bringing in a different segment of people in, Natasha, on your end, mental health is being more awareness now than it was before. So we definitely appreciate you coming on and highlighting that. And Nicole, I want to get back with you and ask, we talked a lot about the individuals and what you are providing for them. Let's talk about some of those larger connectors that you want to get connected with to help the association continue to grow. Do you have specific partners that you're trying to reach as well as the individuals?
So I want to say that I'm really proud of AUTA's visibility. We actually held the first ever Women in Leadership Trucking panel at the Mid-America Trucking Show, March 29th of this year in Kentucky. Why is that important? Because that was 80,000 individuals that attend that show, and we're the first of many. So our partners know exactly who we are, potential partners, individuals out there. They're sometimes scared when we knock on the door because that means we're coming to create change.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say that we are honored and we are so blessed. I'll even use that word to have an opportunity to work with a lot of the larger manufacturers and different entities that push and support our supply chain. What I can say is I would love to challenge, and I won't call out some because you guys are, we're in conversations, but some of the larger carriers, all right, that invoke change for our professional drivers. We want love for them to continue to be open to provide opportunities to individuals, minorities, individuals facing barriers. We want to challenge them to connect with AUTA, to provide pathways for these individuals, all right, not just behind the desk, but not just behind the wheel, but behind the desk as well, providing our members the opportunity for growth and expansion within trucking, logistics, management, leadership. So what we are going to do is not so much call out some of these people because we are in conversations with many of them, and we don't want to make anybody feel bad. But what we can say is we ask that that you guys are welcome as we are in conversations with you for the education aspect. Right. This is why we have a health and wellness initiative. We have huge carriers, right, that are pushing drivers out there. They're pulling them in by the boatload. Get into the organization. We're going to put you in a truck, and then we're going to put you out there. But what they're not telling them, all right, is how to make sure they're able to prolong their life and prolong their time here in this occupation without leaving, without every health issue, or without dying behind the wheel. And so we are knocking on those doors and asking to be invited, all right, to let in with the education that we present for health and wellness, for the education that we provide for safety. We work with a number of entities that we all come together to ensure that our community and the industry has one message, all right, that is coming from us, that's consistent. And so with that, that's all. We just ask that as we knock, y'all open the door. And we appreciate the conversations that we have had with many of you.
Awesome. Awesome. We truly do appreciate you talking about your journey of how you got to your current association. We definitely appreciate you letting us know how you're out and about helping these people. And I'm confident that with the experiences that you've had in corporate and now with your own entrepreneurial journey, you have nurtured and acquired some great business skills or some best practices that have been pushing you towards success. Do you mind sharing with some of the entrepreneurs that are watching the show today some of those best practices?
Yes, absolutely. I think one of the things when we're going to be entrepreneurs, or when we wake up and make the decision to be entrepreneurs, we have to think about leadership. We can't run it on by ourselves. Typically, businesses have more than one individual that help them move forward. I tell individuals, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, make sure you acquire amazing leadership skills so you're able to bring others on. And make sure that you're a great role model. Make sure that your people know that you're in the dirt with them. All right. We get it out the mud together. Leadership is important. I'm a leader that will wash windows, pick up trash, whatever the case may be. I'm in the mud with my people. So make sure that you heighten your leadership skills if you want to be successful and you want to scale. What is scale? That means growing. That means expanding your business. That means you want to go from being a one-man band to having an organization or operation with multiple people. Hence the reason why leadership is so important for entrepreneurship.
That is awesome. I truly do appreciate you sharing that skill. It is very important for these business owners as they're out and about growing their business. They have to get down and do those small things so that the others will follow. Because if you see that the leader is going to wipe that baseboard, then it's going to be okay for you to wipe that baseboard. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that. Now, we've talked a lot about the business, and I definitely want to lighten it up just a little bit. So, Natasha, I'm going to come back to you and say, hey, you have gotten, in the association, you are helping these truckers with their mental health, making sure they're on a good plan, and everything is going forward. So let's just say that time and money is not an issue. Natasha, what is it that you would do with your time?
Absolutely. My time, I would definitely continue to do what I'm doing.
Okay.
Community is a big thing, right? And also spreading awareness to the transportation industry is important. So unlimited time, unlimited money would look like more resources, providing to associations like AUTA, and sleep. Great balance.
Yes. Now, how about you, Nicole? Let's just say, everyone is being taken care of. Some of those carriers have opened up things and doing some of those things we need them to do, and time and money is not an issue. What is it that you would do with your time, Nicole?
So mine is related to trucking, but not really. I'm going to go back to leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I would literally start knocking on strong leaders of our nation's door to have conversations with them about making our nation better.
Okay.
And how I can incorporate myself. Obviously, it would be a hobby, right? Unlimited funds. How can I help you make the world a better place? Mm-hmm. True story.
Awesome. That's a powerful thing to do with your time, because I have done, well over 600 of these, and, most people go directly to travel or knitting, and both of you ladies said, I'm going to continue to give. So as we are going through this show, I just need people to understand that you can tell by the passion they're showing and their responses that it is true to heart what it is that they're doing. Now, Nicole, I want to ask you, if someone may have questions about some of the things you have done in your journey, any questions about the association or those best practices that you shared, what is the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Well, we would love for them to reach out, follow us on our website or social media. We can be reached at www.aawta.org. And that on social media is AAWTA_org on all social media platforms. And I'm going to give out my email address right now, guys. Woo! That's something I don't do now. So if you have some questions, this is the good one. You want to write this one down. So you could also find me at Nicole, Nicole, at auta.org. And I would love to connect with you, talk about networking, community, relationships, what's next, entrepreneurship. So feel free to reach out and let's connect.
Awesome. We appreciate you sharing that. And we always honor our guests for coming on, because we know it's not always easy to share about some of those things that happened in the past, articulate the business, but you've done such a great job today. And we want to honor that by giving you the last word. So please look into the camera and tell the people something good.
So my last words, and words that I live by, is wake up, give it all you got, and don't give up. Keep going. And I'm going to say it again. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming on the show. I truly do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. And to everyone that is watching, be kind and thanks.
Thank you.